Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hi, welcome. We're so happy to have you here at USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. I'm the president, founder, executive producer, and chief listening officer here at our network, where we have 29 live weekly broadcasts. We just finished broadcasting for 16 hours in a row, World Jenny's Day, supporting conversations about mental health wealth. So please go over to our YouTube channel and check it out, USA Global TV and Radio. Our show today is the Mallorca Connection, and what a fabulous topic we have for you today. Plastic-free oceans. Can you imagine? We're going to be talking about how we as humans contribute to the mess that we put our planet in. So without further ado, let's bring out the star of our show, Mr. Roland FRIEDL, who is currently in his motorhome traveling through Europe. And then we'll bring out our guest. Welcome, Roland.
Hi, Dr. JACALYN. Great to see you again. How are you doing?
Hi, nice to see you as well. I'm super excited for this topic. You find the most incredible people from around the world who are making things happen. So bravo to you.
Yeah, thank you. No, that's what I really love and enjoy. It's all about caring and sharing and connecting people, bringing the people together. Like-minded people who have the same goals, the same direction. And you know that besides my main businesses, besides my man's work I do internationally, I'm very into environment, saving the planet. That's why I also do the Earth Show here on USA Global Radio on Wednesdays. I'm very into the environment because I strongly believe that we have to respect Mother Earth, Body Mama, how the Indians say, or Bancha Mama, how the South Americans say. It absolutely drives me. It's my mission, you know. For the last years, I'm spending in this reincarnation on this planet to dedicate my life to protect Mother Earth. And yeah, I'm very happy that I met our guest. Actually, by chance, it was quite interesting. I'm here now in Calpe, a beautiful place on the Spanish coast. As you mentioned, I'm traveling with my motorhome. I left my home base, Mallorca, that has been my home base for the last 14 years, moved into my motorhome full-time, working remotely from there, together with my dog and the cat. And actually, a few days ago, I was walking to the beach having a coffee, and on the way back, something caught my attraction, and I saw a window of a shop. Actually says immobiliario, meaning real estate, and I said, okay, real estate, and the pictures don't fit together. So I looked more at the pictures, and then I found out, oh, maybe they didn't just change the commercial up. And I saw the pictures about what they're doing, collecting plastic from the ocean, making a plastic-free ocean. So I stepped into the shop, into this venue, and there was a young guy, and I asked him, hey guys, are you interested in doing an interview? And then they said, yeah, I met Amaia, and she speaks English, so what is really good. And yeah, that's how I invited her. Actually, it was, I'm not quite sure, maybe she knows it exactly, but I guess it was on Friday I guess it was on Saturday that I met her. I'm not quite sure about that, because you know, when you live in a motorhome like myself and enjoying life, you don't know what date exactly. I know when it's Tuesday and Wednesdays on my shows, but I'm not quite sure. But maybe I guess it was Saturday. I guess 4 days ago, something like that. Yeah, it was interesting.
That is interesting. I'm really excited to bring her out. Just one comment I wanted to share. Actually, today I was reading one of the mainstream papers, and William Shatner. Do you know William Shatner from Star Trek?
Yes. Yes.
Well, he apparently, I think he's written a book, but it was in the paper today that when he left the Earth and went on the space shuttle, that all he saw was death when he looked out and saw all the blackness. And he was so emotional, and I'm just paraphrasing, so I'm not sure I have it completely correct, but he was so emotional when he returned back to Earth because he felt like he could feel that Mother Earth, Gaia, was crying from what we're doing to Mother Earth. So I thought that was so powerful.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I'm in contact with Captain Paul Watson, who was the co-founder of Greenpeace and left the organization. He started with Sea Shepherd. I want to bring him on the other shows. And he's very into also protecting the oceans. And I think, you know, the ocean is so important. Actually, it covers most of the earth. It's very, very important with many creatures, and it's it's so important. Actually, to me, it triggered me when I was actually the last time in Bali. You know, I travel a lot. I traveled the whole world, business wise, but also to get to know cultures. And I did some snorkeling in I guess it was in the Gili Islands or somewhere in Indonesia, to see this big mantas. And there was more plastic than fish in the water. I was absolutely shocked. Especially in Asia. There's so much pressure. But we will hear tonight, or this evening, that also in the Mediterranean Sea, where we are based right now in Spain, there's also a lot of plastic on the ground. Yeah, and there's a solution on that. So that's why I want to bring Amaia on the show and get to know from her what they are exactly doing on their team, how they make an impact on cleaning up the ocean.
Yeah, she's the co-founder of Gravity Wave. Let's bring her out.
Yes.
Hi, welcome.
Hi, Amaia.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
Yeah, this is such an important topic, as we were talking about backstage. And I love what I read from your bio, that at a relatively young age that you decided to do something when you saw the state of affairs of what was going on. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, well, actually, it was 3 years ago that we started Gravity Wave. And all of this came up because I was living in China since 2014 until 2017. And I also love traveling. It's one of my passions. So when I was in China, I took the chance to visit the Southeast Asia. And I also visited islands like Gili, you know, in Malaysia, really far away islands where nobody was living. And suddenly I found all this plastic waste in all these tiny islands. And I really, you know, it shocked me. It changed my life, even though in that moment I didn't really know it. But I knew that I needed to dedicate my life to solve this problem. So when I came back to Spain, I started to tell this story, tell the experience I just had lived, especially to my family and my younger brother, that he was not sensitive at all of, you know, the crisis we are living in this earth. And I was telling him that he was the next generation of people that could really contribute with a solution. So 3 years ago, we started together Gravity Wave to, you know, give our lives to this problem, especially with a positive idea of how we can really change things through entrepreneurship and bring people together to create a solution much bigger than ourselves and work on this problem we have, especially in the Mediterranean, although we have it in all the world, in all the seas, in all the oceans. But we mainly collect the plastic with the fishermen, and then we recycle all this plastic and transform it into different products.
Thank you, Amaia. Amaia, for me, you're just an amazing example, you know, because I know many people that they always talk, but they don't come to action. And you just started, you know, we were thinking, you said, okay, I have to do it. I just started. I talked to many people. Can you tell us a little bit about the start, maybe just to encourage other people who said, I want to do something, but I don't know how to start, because most people think it's so difficult to start. But for me, as an entrepreneur, I see myself as a entrepreneur. This term that Jeffrey Armstrong brought into my life. It's just the first step. So what was your first step to get started?
The first step, it was just a coincidence, because Julen, my little brother, he was 21 years old, but back then, he was having some beers in a bar in Madrid, and he met Lefteris. Lefteris is the founder of Amaia. Amaia is an NGO from Athens, and they were building this sustainable fishing school, teaching traditional fishermen how to fish more sustainable. And Lefteris told Julen that all these fishermen, every day when they went out in the sea, the nets came full of plastic waste. But because they didn't know what to do with all this plastic, they just, you know, threw it back in the sea, because that was what they had been doing for the past years. And Julen, since I was telling him all these stories and all my experience from Asia, he called me maybe 5 minutes after he met Lefteris and told me, Amaia, listen, I have met this guy. He just told me he started this fishing school. These fishermen are collecting tons of plastic, but they are throwing it back in the sea. Why don't we build and start something together and try to transform all this plastic waste into valuable products? So in that moment, it was the opportunity that was in front of us. It was because Julen met this guy, and this guy had this fishing school, and Julen saw the opportunity of creating something together, especially from the collaboration, from building together something really big. And we left everything in our lives. I was managing the director of marketing in a company in Pamplona. Julen was finishing his studies, and we both left our lives to, try this project together and build something like Gravity Wave.
Amazing.
Incredible. A couple of comments I have. First of all, the fact that the fishermen got the plastic and then threw it back. I mean, to me, I just think that's the first thing, because I'm sure there are other people around the world who are actually doing that. And they think, oh, it's not my problem. Or if I take it with me, now it is a problem because I'm not sure what to do with it. And instead of you looking at this with those kind of eyes, your eyes are wide open saying, no, I'm going to step in with my brother. We're going to do something about this. So how bad is the problem? From what you've seen, what could you compare it to so that we could have some kind of understanding?
So the problem is much worse than what we thought when we started Gravity Wave. Just because what the media tells us is just sometimes a bit confusing. But we know, and the numbers keep, updating. There is a lot to know from the oceans, and especially from the plastic pollution. It's quite difficult to measure how much plastic do we have into our oceans, right? Such a big environment that the humans don't know much about. So we keep knowing new things every month, every year. But the numbers tell us that about 8 to 12 million tons of plastic waste is being dumped into our oceans every year. And that's such a big quantity that, to put it into perspective, it means to have one truck full of plastic waste every single minute going into the oceans. So our minds have an idea of what really is happening. So the problem is quite big, and also something that we discovered along the way, because at the beginning when we started Gravity Wave, we thought we were just going to start bringing a lot of plastic bottles or plastic bags, right? That's what we are most informed about, all these ways that we touch, all this plastic that is in our daily lives. But we found that more than 50% of all the plastic waste we are collecting, both from the bottom of the sea and also from ocean bound, comes from fishing gear. Mm-hmm. So that was quite the surprise for us. We did not think we would find this, and that has been our main purpose from that moment that we discovered this, to try to find a solution for all these fishing nets, ghost fishing gear, and this huge problem we have.
Mm. Amaia, what we see in mainstream media is mostly the plastic that's on the surface, this floating plastic carpets. We don't have any idea what's on the ground, because most people are not diving or snorkeling. So we just have a few pictures. Well, it's quite huge. But you said 12 million tons, and you had this example because plastic is not really heavy. So it's a lot of volume. It's really one truck a minute. What do you think? Is most of the plastic on the surface or really on the ground?
70% of all the plastic waste is in the bottom of the sea. Just about 10% is on the surface.
Okay, so it's like an iceberg. We just see the peak, exactly, but we don't see what's beneath on it.
It's exactly like an iceberg. So it's really important to work with, agents that can go in the sea every day and be able to collect the plastic that is on the bottom of the sea, because that's where the main plastic waste is right now. That's why we decided to work together with fishermen, because every day they are going already into our oceans. So why not, work together with this community that is everywhere in the world where we have sea or coast, and try to come with a solution. They are already every day in the sea. So that's what we are trying to do, work together with the fishermen. From now, we are focused on the Mediterranean, because the Mediterranean Sea is in proportion the sea that has the most amount of plastic pollution from the world, in the world. Because it's a really closed sea. So all the plastic that goes in, it doesn't go out. It breaks into small pieces that we call microplastics. I'm sure most of you have heard this term. And when the plastic breaks into smaller pieces, is where we cannot really, do anything to collect it, because it becomes really hard to try to collect small pieces of plastic. So we try to get to the plastic before it breaks down into smaller pieces. So we decided to start in the Mediterranean, because if we prove that we can clean the Mediterranean Sea, then we can go farther. And that's the goal of Gravity Wave. Plastic-free oceans, try to, collect every single piece of plastic out there. And also, very important, we really want to focus on the transformation, not only collecting plastic, but also giving it a new life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why I love your initiatives, because I'm very into environment and respecting Mother Earth, and I know a lot of initiatives that just collect the plastic on the surface but not on the ground. That's why I love the Gravity Wave. And when I got in contact with you and I checked the website, so from my understanding is you're looking for cooperation with fishermen who fish and get the plastic out of the ground. What's the next step once the fishermen have collected the plastic? What's the next step?
So at the beginning, we only had around 15 fishermen that wanted to collaborate with us, because of course they were, used to just go out there and fish for fish, not plastic. So when we told them, hey, would you be interested, in doing this? We would pay you. That's when we started having more fishermen. Right now we have a community of more than 4,000 fishermen. We have fishermen in Greece, in Italy, in Spain. We are opening a pilot in Egypt. And what we do is these fishermen, they collect the plastic from the bottom of the sea when they go out in the water. They bring it back to the port. And we have port managers working in most of the ports. And that's where the separation and classification takes part. It's really, really important that we separate the plastic into different categories, different qualities, and also different types of plastic, because it's not the same type of plastic what we find in fishing net or what we find in a plastic bottle. So we do the separation and classification in the ports, and then we send it to different recycling factories. Everything but the fishing nets. Because what we found with the fishing nets is that nobody wanted to recycle the fishing nets. So we send all the packaging, the bottles, the plastic bags to different locations in Europe. We try to do it as efficient as possible, so we don't create a negative impact with the CO2. So we work in Greece we have a recycling plant. In Italy we have 2 different recycling plants. In Spain we have as well 1 recycling plant. And the fishing nets, we bring them all. Right now we concentrate the fishing nets in Spain, where we collaborate with this recycling plant that is, decided to go with us in this project. And we separate manually by color and by type of plastic the fishing nets, and then we shred all these fishing nets and transform them into, well, the letters I have over here, for example. We create these really big boards, and then we cut these boards into whatever product we design or whatever product our customers want to buy. So that's more or less the process.
Okay. I have an additional question, because I was very into recycled yoga clothes from Indonesia. And I know that there are some companies in Spain who produce thread or even spin a yarn from plastic. Can you use the fishing net to spin new yarn, or is it absolutely impossible to recycle fishing net?
Yes, actually, some brands are using now nylon fishing nets to produce clothing, which is really good because we have really thousands and millions of tons of fishing nets in the world, and we need more than one solution to start using all this fishing gear. But yeah, more companies are being created to use recycled production, and clothing is a really big niche that will start using a lot of fishing gear to produce clothing.
Oh, good luck. Thank you.
I just have a question. I want to go back. I'm sure that Roland, you already know this answer, but I don't know. So a fisherman takes out his boat, right? And he's got to bring in so many fish, make some money. He's got this big fishing net behind him, or commercial fishermen. How do they lose the nets? Because without the nets, they're not catching any fish, right? Do they catch like a whale goes in and rips it off? How do all these nets get to the bottom of the ocean?
So there are two types of fishermen. We have the traditional fishermen. There are these small boats with no more than 4 people, 5 people inside of every boat, and they really live from fishing. So they take really good care of the fishing nets because it's their tools to fish more and more productive. They use them until they really are really old that they cannot use them anymore. Sometimes they break because in some areas, especially in the Mediterranean coast, we have rocky bottom in the sea. And when the trawlers are these fishermen that use the fishing nets that go to the bottom of the sea. Sometimes there are rocks, and these rocks break the fishing nets that the fishermen are using. It doesn't happen very often, but sometimes it happens. So when this happens, these fishing nets are lost, and sometimes they collect them, and sometimes they just, become ghost gear. And then we have the industrial fishing. They are huge boats. The fishing nets can be, I think, 80 kilometers long, which is crazy. Imagine having this fishing net in a road for 80 kilometers long, and these fishing nets, when they break into really big pieces. And what we mainly find is fishing gear from the industrial fishing. And that's the main problem, because there are huge boats out there that are, losing a lot of fishing gear, and for them it's no big problem because they have the money to buy new fishing gear.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. 80 kilometers. That's unbelievable. You would think all the nets would get all tangled with each other while they're out there. It's great.
Yes.
50 miles.
Yeah.
And it's also about, it's not also that these fishing nets are polluting Mother Earth and the ocean. It also kills a lot of animals who live in the sea, because they're like turtles who cannot go to the surface and get oxygen again because they're caught, or dolphins or sharks or whatever. There are many actually species that are really caught in this and also this broken fishing nets.
Yeah, it's a really big problem for animals, because as the smaller get trapped, then the bigger ones come to eat the smaller ones, and they just get trapped and die in there because they cannot get out. So it's a threat, not only for the plastic pollution, but also, as Roland mentioned, for the animals. We find sometimes when we go to the fishing ports where we work, we have these big containers for just the fishing nets. And sometimes when we are, looking into the fishing gear, we find some animals that are dead inside the fishing gear. And it's just so sad, because that's why they are called ghost fishing nets, because once they are out there and nobody, controls them, they will keep fishing. That's their main job, and that's what happens.
So my additional question is: are most of this, especially these large fishing nets, 50 miles long, are they on the ground, or are they still floating like ghost nets? Are they still floating?
We find both. Some of them just are in the middle, so not on the surface, but also they don't go deep down into the bottom. And some others, that as they get weight on, because they get the water, and they become much heavier. And also if they get this algae or organic things, they just become really heavy and they go down into the bottom. But we find both. Most of the fishing nets or ghost nets that we collect is thanks to the trawlers, the fishermen that use these fishing nets that go into the bottom of the sea, and they just bring everything from there. We have found all kinds of really just crazy things, like a printer, boats, every kind of wheels, from motorbikes, really big trucks. It's crazy what people are throwing in our oceans, and we don't understand how it gets there, but it's somehow reaching the oceans. So it's a huge problem.
What about the source of the problem? When you think about the manufacturers, like I don't drink soda, but I know a lot of the sodas come in these plastic, there's like 6 rings, and then animals get their heads caught into the rings. Like what are the manufacturers' attitudes about changing the production of plastic with something, replacing with something else?
We don't see they will be the solution. We are, becoming a bit bigger than before, but still we are just a startup trying to come up with a solution for this huge problem we have. But plastic is just the best material for companies. It's really cheap, is really good, because plastic is a great material, but we are not using it well. So sometimes it's hard to see how customers seem to be the problem when companies are really the ones producing and generating all this waste. What we see here is that customers, we are the ones that have the power to, request these companies to stop using so much plastic, and until we don't tell them to stop and really push them, they will not change, because right now they don't need to change. We keep talking about plastic pollution. We know there is a huge problem, but the system is still not changing. In Europe, we have this huge change that is coming in 2025, where producers of plastic must have some kind of responsibility on the waste they are putting in the market. But even the producers, they don't know what is coming or how they will be affected. So there is a huge gap between what the customer wants and what the companies are really doing.
Yeah, and also what I see is there's a lot of greenwashing. A lot of plastic companies say this is recyclable. Yeah, but when nobody educates the people and collects them and recycle, then it's nice that it is recyclable, but nobody collects them because they just throw them away. I guess it's a lot about educating people. And as you said, we as a customer, we have the power. And as you also said, plastic it's cheap. You can make every kind of packaging of that. Yeah, it has advantages. It's not about avoiding 100%, but it's just really, of the other one, okay, avoid where it's possible. On the other hand, really collect them and bring it to a recycling station and not throw it away. And as you said, a lot of people know it, but it's just, this cognitive understanding. Yes, I know, but there's no emotional understanding because people don't see it. I would always say I would love to fly everyone, for example, to Asia and swim in this plastic, and then you get really shocked, because otherwise you see it in a newspaper, or maybe you see it on TV while you're having dinner, but when you're at the dessert, you already forgot what you said what you saw on TV on the starter. There is no emotional impact on what people see. I guess we have to do a lot more education. But I want to stick back to the fishermen, because you said, okay, most of the plastic, what really shocked me, I didn't know that, comes from fishermen. And I also didn't know that's really bad in the Mediterranean Sea. I thought it's just in Asia. What can we do to support fishermen that they lose minors of this gear? Is there any solution on the way? Are there any alternatives?
Well, that's a really good question. One of the things we are trying to put out there is how important it is that we keep the small traditional fishermen, because they are the ones fishing in a more sustainable way, using less fishing nets, and also being really aware of the health, right, of the ecosystem when they are where they are fishing, because they know that's their main source of income. Uh, so yes, it's a really traditional sector, but they are being aware of what's their power and how they can really help to have healthier oceans. Whereas the industrial fishing, they just care about high volumes of fishing. They don't care if they lose big amounts of fishing nets because they have the money to buy more. And we really try to support the local fishermen, because they are the ones that have the power to clean the sea, and also be more aware of the impact they have. So that's one thing. And also the other thing is having recycling plants to be able to transform these fishing nets. Because right now, what we built in the system, I think, is in every single country, because we are trying to find partners in other countries to recycle the fishing nets, and we are just not finding any. Is that we created recycling plants for really specific materials, such as the plastic bottles from Coca-Cola or the water we drink. But there is no solutions, for example, for bricks that we use so much in packaging and in food and in beverages, and also for fishing nets. And fishing nets, we use them worldwide. Every single fisherman in the world is using fishing nets. And fishing nets are made of plastic. So we really need to come up with solutions for recycling these fishing nets. Right now, we believe we are just one of the solutions. In Spain, we are the only ones. In Italy, there is another one. In the United States, there is another company, but there are not enough companies to recycle the amounts of fishing nets that we are generating. So that's the other solution we need.
Okay. So what you said is this, it's a problem is also that these big companies. And actually, my home base was Mallorca for the last 14 years, and I was very engaged because there was a huge area in the southeast of the island, the protection area for the tuna.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw fisher boats, really huge trawlers coming from the Spanish coast, coming to Baleares to fish. But there has also been fisher boats, really large trawlers from Japan, all the way from Japan to getting the tuna from Mallorca. And this is really ridiculous that these huge companies, I mean, we don't talk about the carbon footprint, all the gasoline they burn to come here, but they also they leave the Japanese fishing nets in Mallorca because they came with these huge trawlers traveling for weeks and really fish tons and tons and tons of fish out of the water. What can we do as a consumer to stop this, or even to reduce this?
One of the things we can do is reduce a bit the amount of fish we eat, but also make sure that we know where this fish is coming from. As I mentioned, we really need to support traditional fishermen and try to buy fish from small markets where we can track the fish, where it's coming from, or we can know better what we are buying and who are we supporting. But that's a really big part of changing the system, trying to reduce the amount of fish we are eating, because now meat suddenly, the consumption of meat went down in developed countries because there was this huge campaign of the footprint that meat was having, but nobody's talking about the negative impact of industrial fishing. And everybody started eating more fish because we reduced the amount of meat, but reducing the amount of fish we eat is key to having healthier oceans.
Yeah. One question, I know it's not your topic, but because fish is healthy, I always eat pescado de salvaje, as a wild catch, because I don't like the hormones in the fish. But do you think that fish from aquaculture, from a fish farm, is an alternative, or would you say no, because it's also polluting the sea?
I always have discussions with the fishermen regarding this topic, because the scientists are saying that the only way to satisfy the demand of fish in the market is to start doing more aquaculture. There is not enough fish out there to to satisfy the demand of the market. So I think it's gonna be the only way. It's not that we will have a choice, but it will only be the only choice that we will have. Yeah, if we want to eat better, I think reducing the amount of fish we eat is gonna be a huge part of the solution.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's really fascinating because I don't eat meat and I just eat fish. So that's really good to know. Thank you for that education.
Yeah,
When you-
I'm a vegetarian, and I always tell my friends and family that now that I know what is out there and I see the amount of plastic waste that we are collecting, I would rather start eating meat than fish. Imagine what's out there. It's really hard to control what we are eating, and fish are eating plastic, of course. So
yeah. I came to the same result, but I'm a meat. I was a vegetarian. I was a vegan.
yeah,
For some time, and I came back to as a meat eater because, but I only eat grass-fed beef, so nothing that has grains or soya exported from somewhere, only from local producers. Actually, when you remember, Jacqueline, we had a few weeks ago, we had Maria from Cantabria, from the north of Spain, who has a special breed, only grass-fed beef, or carne de pasto. Because in the fish, it's a lot of microplastic too. It's a lot of microplastic. We have a lot of mercury, especially when you eat tuna or stuff like that. So I think eating fish is not really a good solution for all, and especially not for the fish itself and for the ocean.
Yeah.
And isn't it true that when we wash our clothes, that these microplastics actually go into the water as well?
Yes, it's true. That's why when Roland, you asked me about these clothing brands that are creating their clothes from the fishing nets. Is good, but it's also not the great solution, because they release, when we wash them in the washing machine, they release so many microplastics that in the system we don't have the solution to filter that. So they go, all of them, into the rivers, and of course later they end up in the oceans. So having organic and natural fibers is the best for clothing. And also that's why we try to come up with materials and products that would be, long lasting, as the furniture we are designing and producing, because we think that we need to make this project circular, but also that really makes sense for us. The first idea we had when we started Gravity Wave was to create phone cases from the plastic waste we started collecting with the fishermen. But I think we got the first prototype 1 year after Gravity Wave, the idea of it started. And we suddenly realized that selling one phone case meant using only 30 grams of recycled plastic. And also it was a product that we didn't control how long it would last. But it's not a product that normally lasts years, for the users. So we changed the whole strategy, the whole project, and we tried to come up with a product that would be really long lasting. And that's why we ended up producing furniture. So I think it's really important on how we are using plastic, recycled plastic, and even more important, ocean plastic.
Yeah, this would have been my next question for the audience, because I already saw the website. So what I really love what you're doing is, with this recycled plastic, not producing plastic bags again, who we throw again away and goes again back to the sea. So to really produce products, of course, out of plastic, yes, but who are lasting longer, like furniture that you using maybe for years, and not just to bring your I don't know, your food home or whatever from the supermarket. That's where I love this exposed, because otherwise it comes so quickly back to the ocean. And we all know that, when I know it from the paper industry too, who are using recycled paper, you cannot produce it 100%. It's not for all paper types. So you have to mix it with new paper stuff, and the same is also the plastic. You have to also use full to make it really a good product. So that's what I love on the project you do. Can you explain a little bit to our audience what kind of furniture you're producing, and do we have a chance, JACALYN, to show some of the website? Is it an option? Can you bring it up on the screen that we see something of the pictures?
Sure. If you want to talk to it, then I'll pull it up.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's really amazing. For some of the products, we are using up to 30 kilos of plastic waste that we are collecting from the sea, and that really is an opportunity for us to keep also cleaning more and more plastic waste. We are really specific on what companies we are working with, what are they producing with the plastic waste we sometimes sell to them, because we don't want to, we don't want it to end up again in our oceans and have to clean that again. We just want to make sure that it will be a long-lasting product, it will be 100% recyclable product, and that we will be able to, once it breaks down, recycle it again so it doesn't end up in our oceans. And that's the main purpose of Gravity Wave.
Very good. I really loved it. Absolutely. And there's nothing is by accident. When I was passing by your office, and I was really triggered by the photographs, and I said at the beginning to JACALYN how I met you. I said there was Amaia, this real estate company. The photograph doesn't fit together, and I'm always a person, I'm very, very curious, and I have a deeper look, and I stopped it with my dog, and I said, hey, let's go back. I want to see this. And I saw these amazing pictures, and now we see your website.
Yeah, I love this website, by the way. It's so comprehensive.
Yes, thank you. We work a lot on how we communicate what we are doing. We know we have a really big job to do, to be transparent and show people that we are doing it real, and we are really transparent on every part of the process, so people can really understand what we are doing, and they believe that there is a solution. Because in Spain, for example, we have this darkness on the recycling industry. So we want to be different in that. We want to show everything and be able to inspire people to come with other solutions in the market, because there is still so much to do. And Gravity Wave is only focusing in one part of the problem. We are focusing on collecting the plastic that is already polluting our oceans, but there is also much to do in the beginning part, to stop this plastic entering our oceans. And we hope there are more companies that are inspired to start a project or a business to come up with these solutions.
Okay, cool.
Well, I'm really impressed with all the companies you're working with, and I'd love for you to come back and continue the conversation with us.
Yeah, I would love to also to invite you to the Earth Show and dig deeper on that. Amaia, when we're coming to an end, who should contact you? Meaning, you're looking for fishermen who cooperate with you? You're looking for companies for the products? What are you looking for? Who should contact you?
We are looking for companies that want to support us in cleaning the plastic waste from the sea. We also want to work with companies that are producing furniture already, or are architects, designers that can use our materials for their projects. And also, of course, fishermen from fishing ports in Europe, especially in the Mediterranean part, but we are also already expanding into the Atlantic. And really important part are the public entities. How can we really work together with them to create this recycling process that is big, that we can recycle the 1,000 tons of fishing gear that we can collect and give it a new life. So yeah, especially companies, fishermen, and public entities that can help us achieve the purpose of this project.
And can you please let our audience know, if they're not able to read the banner, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Through our website, we have direct contact there. Also, my email is here, amaia@thegravitywave.com. And also through our social media accounts. We are really active in Instagram, where we show all the projects we are doing, all the plastic waste we are cleaning, LinkedIn as well. So either one of these channels will be great for people to contact us and reach anyone.
And your Instagram is?
The Gravity Wave.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you for a very informative wake-up call interview. I really appreciate it.
I hope that I wasn't too negative. We always try to give a positive message because, we try to tell this part of the problem from a solution point of view. So
no,
I hope
it's
overwhelm you.
It was
absolutely
excellent.
spot on, because you're not finger pointing, you're not talking about the problem. You of course there's a problem, but you're focused on the solution, and that's what I highly appreciate. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much again. Please do come back and see us. I'm sure Roland will reach out to you and make it happen.
Thank you so much for having me. Really, it was a pleasure, and I enjoyed this time so much.
Thank you.
Thank
you so
We
much,
did
and
too.
all the best. Bye.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you, Roland, so much for bringing her to the platform and creating additional awareness about what is really going on.
Absolutely. We have that's what it's all about. USA Global TV and Radio. It's about informing people, and as I said, it's not about finger pointing and focusing on the bad side. It's, of course, there are issues, there are challenges, yes, but we want to show a solution, and especially what everyone can really contribute, even in a small step. Doesn't matter, because if 8 billion or 9 billion people are doing a small step, that's quite a long path. So
yes, it is. You are so
absolutely
correct. How can people reach out to you, Roland, and who would you like to contact you?
Well, who can reach out to me? Actually, everyone who wants to tell his or her story. It's not about just on a business side fixing a problem in your organization, because as I said, I'm a business person. Or you can also come out to me and reach out to me if you're a male human being and you want to join our tribe. So we meet as a man, or if you want to do some more for the environment, come to me too. But actually, I love to connect with people. That's all I'm doing. I love. It's just not a slogan. It's all about sharing and caring, because we humans, we have to stick together and support each other in a good way to make this planet a better place. Or even, as I always say, we're just visitor of this place, and we should live it in a better way than we came. That we met it when we came. So everyone who wants to is more than welcome. Go on the website. I always say, as I have several websites of different businesses and all the things I'm doing 24 hours, 7 days. Go to my main website. It's rolandfriedl.com. For those who are on a podcast, on a radio station listening, it's ROLANDFRIEDL.com, rolandfriedl.com. There's a contact form. I come back to you. And yeah, looking forward to get to know you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roland. And I'm going to say goodbye with you right now to everyone out there. Thank you so much for supporting us. And our goal, as always, is education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. If you'd like to join our team, if you'd like to be a guest, please go over to our website, usaglobaltv.com/contact us. All right, we will be back again tomorrow. Roland, you'll be back as well for your shows.
Yeah, the Wild at Heart show tomorrow again. Wild at Heart, real, authentic, uncut. The show for man, by man, about man. Interesting topic to get tomorrow. We're talking about how we men, as we're getting older, prepare for, I would say, checking out. For when we pass away. But we check out now because you are going on the road. JACALYN, I wish you a good trip and a safe trip, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.